Here I have two more triangles that I am asked to solve, and sometimes I might have to check how many triangles there are, if it's a side-side angle, and if there aren't any triangles, we're going to say none. So to start off here, the first one that we're given, angle Z is 112. Note that this is not to scale. So this is angle Z. Let's call this X and call this Y. So side X is 29, side Y is 16. And now I need to solve the rest of this. If I tried to use the law of sines right now, it wouldn't work because I don't have a matching pair of side and angles that are opposite each other. So I would have to use the law of cosine to try and solve for side Z first. So side Z, I'm going to use law of cosines. We got 16 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 16 times 29 times cosine of 112. Run it into the other area over here. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and plug all of this into my calculator. So if you need calculator work, I'm not going to go through it here, but I'm going to take a second and then we'll come back to it. So I end up getting z squared equals, I'm rounding this number, but I'm going to use the exact number in my calculator to find z because I need to square root both sides. And I get about 38.01 if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth. So there's my first side. Now that I have this side, now I can start using law of sines. So we'll go ahead and try and find the angle x next. So sine of x over 29 equals sine of 112 over 38.01. Now note that all of my answers are going to be rounded after this because I rounded 38.01. So multiply by 29, take the inverse sine of both sides. So what I'm going to finally plug into my calculator is 29 sine of 112 over 38.01. And that will give me the angle measure for x. So when I plug this in, 29 times sine of 112 divided by 38.01. Looks like I'm getting about 45-ish, but it's angle x equals 45.02 rounded to the nearest hundredth. And now that I have angle x and angle z, I'm going to find angle y by subtracting it from 180. So 180 minus 112 minus 45.02, which gives me my final angle, which is angle y, is 22.98. And again, all these answers are really just rounded, so none of them are exact. But there's my first triangle solved. For the second one, triangle EFD, I'm going to go ahead and draw angle E is 136. This is not to scale. The opposite side is 10 because this is E and E is 10. And then side D is 24. So I'm going to always put the adjacent side on top here because now I see that this is a side angle. And so I have to do a height test. I have to check to see how many triangles this creates. So to find the height, I'm going to use sine of 136 equals the height over 24 because I just created a right triangle right here. And so when I multiply 24 by both sides, 24 times the sine of 136 is about 16.67. So my height is greater than the opposite side. So if the opposite side is less than the height, then there is no triangle. This part here is not going to reach to this line over here because it's less than the height. So in this one here, there are no triangles.